Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I am your host. And I have, once again, Mr. Jeffrey Gitomer on the show. Very, very special guest and good friend of mine. Jeffrey, welcome to the show. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Ken. I think your duty-free music is as good as anybody's.
And thanks for being on the show. Y'all have a good day. Oh my God. Wow. So thank you for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
I think my face might be incredibly red right now. But anyway, so I've known you now I've known of you obviously for many, many years. I've known you personally now for a couple of years, and I've read, obviously studied your books. For those of you who do not know who Mr. Gitomer is, he is a New York Times best-selling author of 13 books, soon to be 15, and he's has the #1 best-selling sales book on planet Earth of all time. And it's called The Little Red Book of Selling. I have it right here. If you don't have this book, you got to get it. But, Jeffrey, why don't you tell everybody kind of what's going on and what you've got coming here, because you have a pretty special announcement to make today.
On October the 30th, there will be a book launch. And the book launch is not actually my book, but rather it is the first writings of Napoleon Hill that were unearthed a few years ago and then offered to me by the Napoleon Hill Foundation, with whom I've had a decade-long relationship, actually more, to annotate and edit the first writings of Napoleon Hill. And I did. And what I found when I got these documents, keep in mind they were written in 1917, so they're officially 100 years old.
Jeez.
The course that he was teaching at the George Washington Institute in Chicago was called Truthful Advertising. And it was a sales course around how to create and sell advertising. And at the end of each lesson, he had an after the lesson visit with Mr. Hill. And that was the foundation of what later became Think and Grow Rich. So I took the 23 lessons and I took away the sales part of it. I took away the advertising part of it and just left the after the lesson visit with Mr. Hill, because it contained the foundational information that later became literally part of his magnum opus, Think and Grow Rich, but also the laws of success and the magic ladder and how to raise your own salary. All of the following books started with this stuff.
Wow.
And there's things in here that don't exist anywhere. Somehow they got lost in the translation. So if you want the 7 rules of success, or you want the 5 greatest words in the English language, or you want the 5-point rule, you have to read and study this book. It literally is, I don't like to call it life-changing. I like to call it life-altering. Because it'll allow you to take what you're currently doing and make it better, or make it better understood as to what you need to do, what might be missing, what you're doing well. One of my employees read the book and he said, I found out that I was doing about half of this stuff, but that I needed the other half.
Right.
And now he's combining what he had been doing with what he needed to do, and all of a sudden his success ratio has skyrocketed.
That's incredible.
So there's 1,000 of these books printed. And I don't know whether you're familiar with how the publishing world works, but normally these are called galley copies. It's called advanced reader copy, not for sale.
Right.
Usually it says uncorrected proofs, but these damn things have been corrected like 500 times. I wouldn't allow them to put that on the cover. But the bottom line is, I'm the first person on the planet, if you look at your book, you'll see that these books are signed. I made Amazon, who's my publisher for this, send me 1,000 books, and I signed them all, and then I sent them back to Amazon for distribution. Nobody does that. But I wanted people to feel like they were getting a special book when they got this.
That's incredible.
So when I'm dead, I want everyone to go on eBay and offer their signed book up, because there's only 1,000 of them. But more importantly, the dramatic impact that a book like this can have on your life literally cannot be measured, Ken. It is, the book is very well designed. I actually designed it for Amazon. But if you look at all of the elements that are in the book, buy the book and just do this. Just read the full page quotes. Just do that.
Yep.
Then you decide, oh, maybe this book is for me. Okay, then give the book a cursory read, and then study it. Now, if you go to NapoleonHillsFirstWritings.com, which will appear in the show notes, I hope, we will give you a free one-chapter download.
Nice. What's the web address again?
I'm not telling. It's NapoleonHillsFirstWritings.com.
Okay.
The first lesson is success is up to you. Like, dude, that's a slap in the face.
Yeah, that's
because you were counting on your company's marketing department to put you over the top.
Right.
That's not going to happen. So NapoleonHillsFirstWritings.com will put you automatically. You have to give your email address, and I think you have to give your a couple $1,000. No, it's free. It's free. It will lead you to my attitude course, which is almost free. But you don't have to do that. Just take the first chapter and download it, and that will allow you. It's in an ebook format. That will allow you to see the content for yourself. Okay. There's no preamble to it. I think we put the table of contents in there, just so people could see what it is that they're potentially getting. But it's incredible. And all of the principal initial writings of Napoleon Hill are contained in this volume.
Wow.
I've read it a half a dozen times just in editing and putting together, but I never really had the full understanding of the book until I did the audio recording of it.
Oh, you did an audio recording also?
Of course. You can get it on Brilliance. You can pre-buy the book right now on Amazon. The book is published by the Amazon publishing arm, not you load it up yourself and they print it on demand. Yeah, exactly.
And people keep asking. Patricia Lynn Burgess is asking on the feed, what's the name of the book again? It's
Truthful Living. Just go to Amazon, type in my name or Truthful Living or Napoleon Hill's name, and it'll pop up.
Yep.
It's featured at the moment.
This book, and I'm just going to say this because you were kind enough to send me one of these and to allow me to read it. I was like, there is no way I'm going to be able to read this before the show and get all the way through it, because you can't. Like, this is one of those books. Probably, a couple of things. Like you're talking about something that was written in 1917. You said.
Yep.
So the
lexicon, the word. Thank you. Yeah, it's just not. I mean, I'm sitting here with Doug right now, who's our producer, and he'll tell you firsthand it was hours and hours of reading, correcting at 7 o'clock in the morning until finally, it was like, I don't know how many total hours it was, but I'm going to say 15, where it normally would take me 4 or 5 hours to read a book.
Yeah, there's just so much, and then one of the really and are you allowed to read any of the quotes?
What do you mean, in the book? Sure, you can read whatever you want.
Like there was one I took a picture of. I was like, that is awesome. I forget which one it was now, but
I'll give you a few. Ponder well before you decide, for you may live to realize it. There's an old Jewish quote that says, man thinks, God laughs. And it falls into that same category.
I love though what you do. You know, like in here, he's talking about character, right? And you go through, and can I show just one little thing in here that you did?
Yeah, sure.
Like you've got, I don't know if I can.
Right. That's cool. It's right there. That's good.
Yeah, you have your Gitomer note in there about.
Right.
So you're going through this, and the lexicon, there's a new word for me. I just got a new wrinkle on my brain. But the lexicon, the way that this is written from 1917, it may not be easy for a lot of people to understand what he's trying to say. Plus,
that's correct.
The guy was one of the most intelligent people that ever lived on this planet. And you take that and you have these little quotes all throughout the whole book that are like, okay, this is what he's talking about right here, and this is how you apply it.
It's called annotating.
Annotating.
And what I did was I didn't want to disturb Napoleon Hill's original words. I have no right to do that.
Right.
I'm not going to edit it. I'm not going to put he or she. I'm not going to do any of that bullshit.
Right.
I'm going to make it his exact words, his exact thoughts 100 years ago. But if I have a thought or I want to clarify something, then I'll put it in a different typeface in the middle of the chapter, at the beginning or the end of the chapter. At the end of every chapter, it's how to put this into your life.
Right.
At the beginning of the chapter, it's what's the chapter all about. But clearly, anybody can see that's what I wrote, not what Napoleon Hill wrote. And then every single word in every one of those chapters that's in normal typeset is his words. Every single one of them. No editing whatsoever.
That's awesome.
It's totally cool.
It's a great book. I'm telling you, like, I'm not all the way through it. But just reading the chapter names alone.
Yep.
Is it you that came up with they're not chapters in this. They're called lessons.
Right, because he was giving a lesson in advertising sales.
Okay.
And then he referred to this as an after the lesson visit.
Got it.
So I just kept the word lesson in there so people could understand where it came from. But I'm going to read you something just so you understand. I'm reading it without glasses. So.
Sure.
Here's the deal. Success may be had by those who are willing to pay the price. And most of those who crave a $10,000 a year position, that was 1917, is now, that would be equivalent of about $250,000 in today's money.
Yeah.
Especially if they are engaged in business, may realize it if they are willing to pay the price. And the price is eternal vigilance in the development of self-confidence, enthusiasm, working with the chief aim, performing more service than you're paid for, and concentration. With these qualities well developed, you will be sure to succeed. Let's name these qualities the 5-point rule. Now, this isn't the end of the book. This is page 211 of a 240-page book.
Wow.
But the bottom line is, the whole book is full of this stuff.
Yep.
There's 7 success rules, 5 most important time, he covers virtually every aspect of personal development and personal success. Not about any sales guy out there who's trying to convey a value message to a prospect. Let me give you a wake-up call. The prospect doesn't give a shit that you have a quota. Correct?
Yeah.
That's tweetable, I think.
Yeah, somebody write that down.
Yeah. So the prospect doesn't give a shit that you have a quota, and there has to be an ability for that salesperson to convey a value message. And all of those elements are contained in this book. What do you need to do to become a more valuable person? Where's your self-confidence? Where's your enthusiasm? Where's your belief? Where's your desire? Where's your hard work? Where's your goal?
Yep.
Where's your concentration? There's nothing in here you go, oh my God, concentration? Let me take a look at that. No. But Hill wrote an entire book called The Magic Key, and the magic key is the word concentration. And what he's saying is, pay attention. Now, they call it now mindfulness, which is a bullshit term that I have no idea what it means that somebody wrote about, but it's how you dedicate yourself to how you think.
Right.
And how you focus on what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Right.
And we live right now in the most distracted world on the planet.
Yep.
I don't care what you're doing. A text goes off and you look at your phone. An alarm goes off and you got to go pick up your kid from school. You get an email and you get a notification. You get your old high school boyfriend got fat and you get a notification on Facebook. So all the things that distract you from achievement, you've set in motion yourself. Get rid of that. And Hill calls it, you have to practice self-denial. And self-denial are the distractions that are causing you to be mediocre.
Wow.
You don't have to, you need to drink a little less, and you need to smoke not at all. But the bottom line is you have to take the things in your life that are causing your diversion and get rid of them.
Yep.
And it's real clear. I mean, if there's no denying the fact that these will help you.
It's and this again to kind of reiterate, and I have a friend that used to say, you would know this. He used to say, reiterate is not a word; it should not be in the dictionary. And I'm like, what? He's like, it's a double something. I'm like,
yeah.
Is that true?
No,
I didn't think so. I thought he was full of crap. So
reiterate means to say it again.
Yeah. He said, you just say iterate. I'm like, but what if you've already iterated and you're doing it again?
Exactly.
I'm going to double iterate. But anyway, so this is not a book that is, it's not a book that you're going to read and you're going to get through the first chapter and go, I feel so much better about myself.
Right.
It's a book that has specific instruction and guidance that you're gonna like.
Exactly.
You're gonna go.
You have to make it part of your life, or it will just be another book that you read and you put up on your shelf.
Right. You got to study it.
But Napoleon Hill, the sense that he makes in the book, he says, look, every major invention, every major manufacturing plant started as someone's thought.
Yep.
And so when he says thoughts are things, what he really means is thoughts become things.
Yeah.
You think about it enough, you think it, then you make a plan, and then you turn the plan into action, and all of a sudden a car manufacturing factory shows up, or a telephone invention, or an airplane that can fly from New York to California with lousy service shows up.
Right.
And that's how the world works. And when you realize that you can think, and Earl Nightingale says you become what you think about.
Yep.
The great thinkers of the world understood thinking, and there's a whole chapter in here on thinking, on how to think. So there's enough in this book for anybody to take a life lesson from, and then go back and repeat it, go back and repeat it, go back and repeat it. I would recommend, and I've only gotten through this myself 6 times, including one read aloud. I'm going to do it another 4 times, but I do it, now I'm doing interviews almost every day, so I'm getting pretty familiar with the content. Yeah. But you have to read the book a half a dozen times for it to really begin to sink in. You have to underline it, destroy the book, pull out the pages that you want and put them on your bathroom mirror. Buy 2 copies of the book, wreck one and keep one.
Yeah.
Send it to me in Charlotte. My address is at Gitomer.com. I'll sign it for you and send it back so you can save it in a nice place. But this is the bottom line. This book is actionable.
Yep.
And it's real world, and there's no bullshit. It's just you have to reinterpret some of the words in order to bring them into the 21st century. And I've tried to do that without manipulating any of the words of Hill. I'm very true to the fact that this is his original writing, his original thinking. And when you think about 100 million copies of Think and Grow Rich have been sold.
Right.
Dude, I just want to sell a few million. I'm a happy guy.
Right. Well, let me.
Listen, all the books that get sold will help someone.
That's right.
Every single one of them.
Yep. I think here's one of the most important parts of this for me is I've been in your house, I've been in your library, which is the largest library in the world on the history of selling, right? Like
Correct.
it's unbelievable. And you know, I know that you're one of the world's foremost experts on Napoleon Hill. And so if I had a copy of, and I've read Think and Grow Rich a couple of times in my life, and I've gone through it many times, right? But if I had a copy of it where I'm reading it and I've got little Gitomer notes explaining each step along the way, so it makes sense to me, right? Because again, it's just like it's like reading the Bible or reading the Quran or anything. Like there's so many interpretations of what people say that when you have somebody who's an expert that is going to that can go in there and interpret things that in the way that it makes sense. And that's what I love about this book is it's Think and Grow Rich and everything else that he ever wrote with you explaining it.
Exactly.
Like,
and I took a lot of time in the very beginning when I started to do this. That's why it took 2 years to do. As I read every lesson, I put a beginning.
Yeah.
This is what it means. This is what you're about to read. And then an ending that says, this is how you can put this into your life. So it comes as an instruction guide, not simply a book. And it's all contained in one thing. It's audio. It will soon be, it'll be Kindleized, of course. So wherever you have your Kindle app, you can put it there. I would highly recommend to buy all three versions. You take the Kindle app when you're on the airplane or when you're on when you're in the back seat of a car or waiting for a sales appointment, read a couple pages.
Yep.
And, take it to the beach. Read the whole thing if you're near a beach.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be an understanding of repetition leads to mastery. If you read it once and you go, yeah, that was really good, I got to do a couple of these things, you're screwed. Because somebody, your competitor, is going to read this book 10 times and kick your ass.
That's right.
That's a guaranteed.
Yep.
So this is not some made-up thing about what you think to do. This is the foundation that made Napoleon Hill who he is or who he was. And I'm going to Frankfurt, Germany, in about 2 weeks to the International Book Fair, Book Expo.
Wow.
Because this book will be in 30 languages in 1 year.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
my Lord.
Yeah, cool.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
What is, like, if you were, because I'm sure a lot of people on here have read Think and Grow Rich. I'm sure a lot of people on here will say that they've read Think and Grow Rich, but they haven't.
Or they've read it 20 years ago and put it down.
Right.
But I promise you this, if you have Think and Grow Rich, go to your library right now and take a look at it. You're going to find, oh, wow, it's been a long time since I learned about desire.
Right.
Oh, it's been a long time since okay, so all of the elements are there. But I'm telling you this, I've read Think and Grow Rich at least 10 times myself. I don't want to overstate it, but a minimum of 10 times.
Yeah.
This book will literally, it will inspire you to the hilt.
Yeah.
And if you take the time to put it into your life, it will monetize itself for you.
I totally agree. I was going to ask you, what do you think, what's the big difference between Think and Grow Rich and this book and Truthful Living?
Yeah. The obvious difference is that this book came out 20 years before Think and Grow Rich. So Hill had 20 years to define, redefine, and do all the things that were necessary to put out Think and Grow Rich. And by the way, Think and Grow Rich is not the title. It's Think, and then Grow Rich. Because he starts out with thoughts or things.
Yeah.
But this book has thoughts or things in it. This book has all of the elements of Think and Grow Rich and a few things that are missing.
Yeah.
A few things that are not there that will help anybody get to the next level. So what's different? The lexicon is different. The structure is different. The way I follow, I was true to his lesson plan. That's different. So there's no one looked at this and said, wow, this is the foundational book of Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill just wrote the course, gave the course, and put all the lessons in a box.
Yeah.
And the Napoleon Institute found them 70 years later. No, I'm sorry. Almost 100 years later, like 90 years later.
Wow.
They found them. I've had a relationship with them for a decade. They called me on the phone. They offered them to me to annotate and write. I took them up on the offer, but I took my time. There was no deadline. No one said if you don't do it next week, you don't have it.
Right, right.
So I took my time, had several editors in terms of making sure all the grammar was correct and the commas and all that other crap, because
Right.
Napoleon Hill wrote with no commas. He wrote with no commas, not enough commas. I'll just say that. So as I'm reading it, we tried to leave it true to form without grammatical marks, but some you had to put in there.
Right.
The run-on sentences were crazy.
Yeah.
So, but no words changed. Not one word changed.
Wow.
And that takes its own time because you have to make sure that the meaning is right and but there's a clarity in this book that doesn't exist anywhere that I've ever read. It is clear on the path that you take for success. And think about this here. Just let me throw something at you.
And while you're doing that, I want to say that there's been a couple of times while I'm reading it where I'm thinking, what exactly does he mean? And like in this, and then boom, there's a little note from Gitomer that explains it.
So success is up to you. Finish what you start. How to think. Imagination. The value of self-confidence and sincerity. Let ambition be your master. Adversity, a blessing in disguise. Time, the most precious thing in the world. The 7 success rules. Adopt a chief aim in life. I mean, come on. Then he has these cool things. The law of harmonious attraction. Come on. That's so damn cool. It's not even funny. How to sell yourself and your services. Discovery. Things, life, and happiness. Luck versus pluck. Imagination, desire, enthusiasm, self-confidence, and concentration. The big 5 words. Who's behind your success? If I had but one wish. The great magic key, which is concentration. The value of personal appearance in creating a favorable first impression. At the sign of the dollar. The 5-point rule. The principle of service. And a great truth, which I have learned from 20 years of experience. Now, just think about that. My epilogue is the truth, the whole truth, so help me Hill. And that's, this book also contains something that heretofore has been unknown. Where the hell did Napoleon Hill get his information? Well, what's the origin of his thinking? And in the back of this book, without giving it away, just take a look in the back of the book. You're going to see in there, before my bio, you're going to see books you ought to read.
Yep. Oh,
Don't say one of them. Don't say any of them. But these are the books that Hill read in order to gain his thinking.
Wow.
Look how many Orison Swett Martin books are in there.
Holy moly.
Isn't that cool?
That's insane. I'm not allowed to say any of them?
No, none. It's revealed in the book where Hill's thinking came from, and for anyone who's really an avid fan, I recommend go buy those books.
Wow. Yeah.
Because they're all reprinted these days.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Isn't that
incredible.
Cool?
That's really cool.
Yeah, look at the prices of the books.
I saw that.
Isn't that cool?
Like, what the
50
hell?
cents or $1.
That's crazy.
So that's why the $10,000 a year job is now $250,000.
Right. Dude, this is incredible. I just called you dude. Mr. Gitomer, this is incredible.
Right.
But no, I mean, and look, here's what's really cool. As I was down at your house a year ago, maybe, and you told me you were working on this project,
right?
And now it's here it is. This is unbelievable. So hey, everybody, share this out. Maybe, and we should have talked about this beforehand, but maybe we could do some kind of a contest or something for a free book. I'll chip in $5.
Sure. Let's do it when it comes out.
Yeah.
When it launches,
Right,
we'll come
right.
back and do a contest, and I'll send somebody a signed book.
That's awesome, man. So, and we'll talk about, we can discuss details on that later, but
Sure.
this is incredible. If you guys have not, I've let Linda Ann Barber has she typed in NapoleonHillsFirstWritings.com, and I left that up there. I did too, but she's prettier than I am, so I left her comment up there.
Perfect.
Yeah. But it's NapoleonHillsFirstWritings.com. You know who Linda Ann Barber is, right? She works with Weldon Long, Wally Long.
Yeah, I love Weldon Long.
He's incredible. That dude is unbelievable.
I love him. I love his story. I love everything about him.
His books are amazing too. I don't know if you've read any of them or not.
He's a total no bullshit guy.
He is.
Yeah,
the best. I love that dude. So listen, go to NapoleonHillsFirstWritings.com and
download a free chapter.
And download a free chapter of the book. Is it the first chapter?
Yep.
Okay.
Success is up to you.
It's an incredible book. I'm only about halfway through. I'm not even halfway yet. And it's not something you're going to buzz through. And if you do, you're literally wasting your
don't
life.
Tell me you read it in one night.
No.
I don't want to hear that. But
there's no way.
Put down your beer, put down your phone, put down your phone, put down your television remote, and just read for a few nighs.
I mean, there's so much gold in this thing, man. There's this one thing that you have to sign in here. I'm just looking ahead a little bit. It looks like it's asking for a signature on something, but it's like insane. You're literally like guaranteeing lifetime of success if you get this book and apply it.
Correct.
And study it and apply it.
That is correct, sir.
All right.
And it's a fun read.
It is.
I mean, it is the ultimate personal alarm clock. It's a wake-up call. It's not a cold slap in the face. It's a hand extended to help you. It's the encouragement that you need to be able to get to the next level, because it's written with kindness, not with, oh, you're such a jerk for not doing this.
Right. That's incredible. Well, Jeffrey, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all this. You've already been a guest and told your life story, so is there anything else you want to say to anybody on here about this?
Your life story, by the way, always ends with a mortgage payment.
Right.
But there is something that I would like to say. If you are inclined to get this book and you buy it and you get it delivered and you like it, please pass that on to somebody else. Yeah. Please make certain that you have recommended somebody else make this part of their life. If you own a company, buy it for everybody. Just give it to them. If you need to send them to me for signature, I would be more than happy. You send them to me at your expense. I'll send them back to you at my expense. And that's awesome. That's how the world works. So
and that's how you are. Like you're just, that's how you are. You live what you teach. Like I'm just gonna tell a story. I don't have permission, but I don't. You can sue me. So when I was there, you're like, here, dude. Here's every book I ever wrote, and you literally personally signed and wrote a little note in each and every one of them. Like that. That's who you are.
Yep.
And people should know that. You're a good man.
Oh, thank you very kindly.
Thank you. You're a good person.
So October 30th.
Yes.
You can pre-buy it right now on Amazon.com. Just go to Truthful Living. The book will pop up, and hit the buy now button, and it will be sent to you on October the 30th. So you get it on the 31st or wherever the drone dropped it off in your bathroom.
And it's sent via Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon is the publisher, the editor, the printer, and the promoter of this book, literally from its first word to its last word. So it's their pure publishing arm, the one that competes with Random House and Hachette and HarperCollins and Simon & Schuster and the whole shooting match.
All of your publishers over the years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, basically.
Exactly.
So
new cowboy, new sheriff in town.
Yeah, right. So
if you don't believe me, try driving out of town and not seeing their warehouse.
If they go to NapoleonHillsFirstWritings.com and they give you their email address and all of that, is there a place on that site where they can buy the book?
Every page.
Oh, okay, good.
You can click right through. The ebook will click right through to Amazon.
Okay, good, perfect. There you go, and it's sure eligible for Amazon Prime. So go to NapoleonHillsFirstWritings.com and get this book. I'm telling you, it will rock your universe. I promise you, it will rock your universe.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ken. Hey, it's a pleasure always. I'll see you around the end of October, and we'll create a contest.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on.
It'll be my pleasure.
All right.
Okay.
You guys have a great day.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.